Guten Morgen. Herr Clark here. I just wanted to take a chance to go through the rules for those of you who are doing distance learning. Um, a lot of these apply to in-person class time, so I just want you to be ready to adapt to them when we transition, hopefully, back to in-person learning. I'll describe a few in greater detail, but a few I'll just leave as is. So here on the page we see Die Regeln, Deutsch, for the rules. And rule number 1, Regel nummer 1, is be kind. It's in all caps. It's rule number 1 because I really believe in it as a core part of how this room needs to function. This year is very different than other years, and I think the main thing we need to be mindful of is how can we make others feel less stressed. This is a stressful year by any measure. And how can we be kind to others, be empathetic, and not do or say or anything that makes someone's day worse? What can we do to try and lift up others, whether it's small or large? Kindness matters to me a lot. So rule number 1, be kind. I will reference it. I will remind people of it. I will try and remember it myself. So rule number 2, time is precious. Deliberate wasting of time will not be tolerated. Do not line up at my door. Distance learners, you will not be lining up at the door, obviously. But I try and be mindful of this in my lesson planning, that I'd rather do something well in 5 minutes than not so well in 10. We don't have a lot of time to waste, and so we're going to try and be mindful of all the time we have. Rule number 3, be an active listener. So eye contact when we're in the room, when we're on Zoom, please try and focus on what we're doing in that amount of time. Deliberate wasting of time will not be, I'm sorry, when I'm talking, please try and be listening. That means no talking, no other distractions. When someone else is talking too, we want to give them our attention. We also want to be mindful of no chortling. And if you don't know what a chortle is, it's scoffing at someone else's idea or suggestion. Rule number 4, talking about cell phones. You're going to be at home. You're going to have access to your device. Try and take a break when you're doing your distance learning. It'll be there. It'll be right next to you. I'm fairly empathetic of the world we live in, but when you come back into the classroom, we will have a divider of where your cell phone will go during the day. Please try and, when you're in the classroom, not be wearing earbuds. It's just something that drives me nuts. But don't feel like you're going to lose a part of yourself with your phone. You'll have chances to use it throughout the day. Number 5 is very important, especially in a distance learning capacity. You are expected to participate in your education. You are expected to attempt to speak in German. You shall not rely on Google Translate for your language acquisition. It would be very easy to fake an education with the tools and resources available for distance learning. That's of no value to you. It is frustrating for me, but I understand that we have access to a lot of translation services, but the goal is to build a new framework in your brain for a new language. So it's worth it to give it a shot. And if you do try, you will succeed, no matter if you still feel at the end of your experience like it was a struggle. That struggle is the point. So please take rule number 5 seriously. Rule number 6, be responsible and reasonable with food and drink in class. We're not going to have food in the classroom until we figure out the pandemic situation. When you're at home, please don't be scarfing down a meal. while we're doing distance learning. These will be short sessions. You'll be able to go back to your meals when we're done. If you are eating a chip or two, I'm not going to call you out on it, but just be mindful of that. Rule number 7, do not throw things. Even at home, don't throw things. It's important. I'll come back to that. Rule number 8, class it up a little. Use your filter. Express yourself maturely and be empathetic. Do not intentionally harm another person's feelings. So before I get into the details, this one's important to me just simply because you need to learn that different settings require different sets of etiquette. And in a classroom, in a school, we communicate a little bit differently than you do in other settings. I'm not going to bring the hammer down every time you slip on this, but I will be intentional to remind you. So please reactivate your filter, even on Zoom. No foul language, no language derogatory to anyone's race, national origin, religion, creed, gender, sexual orientation, physical appearance or disability, academic or physical achievement, social or economic status will be tolerated at any time. I'm fairly inflexible on this. You are allowed to have opinions that are different from that. You are just not allowed to express them in my classroom environment because it is a safety issue. Expressing opinions that about someone else based on those criteria is harmful to their well-being and is harmful to our classroom atmosphere. So please let me know if you have any questions on what I mean by that, but hopefully it's fairly explicit. Rule number 9, you must ask to leave the classroom auf Deutsch. That'll be more important when you come back. But I do want you to try and use the language to get what you need, including an exit. So, darf ich aufs Klo? Yeah, is may I go to the bathroom? Rule number 10, no whining. Rule number 11, wear your mask and clean up after yourself. You don't have to wear your mask for distance learning, but you can also clean up after yourself at home. That would help out a lot. And rule number 12, ask for help. This is important. I don't know what you need all the time. I cannot always anticipate your where you're struggling. So please use your resources, whether it's email or Zoom chats, or if you're an in-person learner, coming and talking to me privately, or even raising your hand during class time. Advocate for yourself. You can even advocate for others if you notice someone is struggling. This is a life skill that I hope you're able to build. So those are the rules. I just want to go through those quick. Danke.